Here's the path for the Packers. They need to win out. Now the Commanders need to lose to the Browns or the Cowboys. The other option is this. Packers win out, and the Giants lose to Jeff Saturday and the Eagles. Greg, earlier in your tenure, you wrote off the Packers.
I did.
And I was like, oh, man, if Greg Jennings is writing off the Packers, they're done. But all of a sudden, feeling frisky, are you ready to write them back on? Since you're in Broussard's seat, you are allowed.
Yeah. This is true.
Yeah.
However, I'm not Broussard.
Okay.
And I'm sticking with my feet in concrete, and the Packers, I'm not on the bandwagon.
Man,
You know what, Wilds? You know what they've always called Greg?
Mr. Consistency.
Junior. Yeah, Mr. Consistency. Yeah, exactly right.
Junior.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah,
Okay.
Junior. I'm a
I'll
little
take it.
older than
I'll
you.
take
Yeah,
it.
it's
I'll
fine.
take it.
Just a few months. Go ahead.
But
Yeah.
no, for me, it's and the reason why I'm not on this bandwagon is because when you look at their wins, it would be different if they just flat out look like,
Look
the
great.
Packers are back.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers is throwing lights out, no interceptions, this offense is rolling, defense is clicking. That's not the case. Like they are playing decent football, but they're not playing the Packers of what we saw or what we are accustomed to type football. It's teams saying, here you go. Try to win.
exactly right.
Like, take a win if you want one.
Okay.
And they have fallen into the lap of wins. So for me, like, congratulations. I still don't believe in this team. And a lot of people are going to say, well, Greg, why wouldn't you believe in the Packers? They got Aaron Rodgers in 2 games left against division opponents. 2 opponents that they lost to.
Yeah.
Weather
No,
was
it's a
different.
different-
Obviously, it was
different
indoors.
team.
But it's still 2 teams that I believe that are better than the Packers, that can put up points that the Packers can't match if that defense doesn't hold. And the Packers, like, we make it seem like they are just back, like scoring 30 points a game.
That's exactly
That's
right.
not who they are.
So Greg nailed it on a lot of fronts. First, I want to say something about America's inability to do basic mathematics.
Okay, here we go.
Just for a second.
Yeah, this ratings bonanza. Get
just
ready,
for a
Nielsen.
second.
Math lesson from Nick Wright.
Okay, I'll be quick. Just because you now have a 30% chance at something that was 5% does not mean the 30% chance is likely to happen. It's still
pretty
a
good.
less than 1 in 3 shot of getting it. The only reason we feel like the Packers are alive is because they are not 100% dead the way it felt like they were 3 weeks ago. But they are still drastic underdogs to even make it to the playoffs. 70-30 against them making it to the playoffs. Why is that the case? Well, aside from the standings math, it's because of what Greg said. This 3-game winning streak, they've beaten the Bears, who right now would have the 2nd pick of the draft, the Rams, who right now I think would have the 5th or 6th pick of the draft, and the Dolphins, which is a good win, except for the fact the Dolphins haven't won in a month and they gave the game away. Everyone is convinced. Everyone is trying to convince themselves that the Packers, but they're dangerous if they get in because they have Aaron Rodgers. They have a quarterback named Aaron Rodgers, but they don't have Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers, since September, has 1 game with a passer rating of above 100. 1 game. Aaron Rodgers, since last year, has 0 games with more than 260 yards passing. And even in this game, that 4th and 2 shot that they had open for the touchdown that he sailed by 7 yards, that all of a sudden makes you feel like this team's dangerous, that this team is going to go beat Minnesota and Detroit. Not to me.
Minnesota, they won't collapse. Sorry, Greg.
Well, no, Minnesota might collapse
Minnesota.
at some point, but they are 12-3, and they did beat up the Packers to start the season.
Cowboys embarrassed them. It was a big game.
The Cowboys are a good team. The Packers are not.
Jeff Saturday's team, fell apart, but they would have lost that game too. You know what? I'm counting that as a loss.
Okay.
You lost to the Colts.
Do you think they're making the playoffs?
I'm rooting for them, and I'm a little bit, to be honest with you, rooting against you and your mathematics.
Okay.
Because you wanted to start Jordan Love.
I still think they made a mistake.
Oh, Aaron Rodgers.
You
didn't say it, but you insinuated that he was being selfish because he was trying to rally his teammates.
No, I
said
what
he's predicted has happened.
Right. And what I predicted was that they would not be mathematically eliminated for quite some time, so they're going to continue this fool's errand instead of getting actual information on Jordan Love. And when they lose to the Vikings and their season's over and they play Jordan Love for 1 measly game and then have to pick up a 5th-year option, and we're like, oh, Nick Wright, in addition to having an interesting new hairstyle, makes a lot of good points. That's what they're going to say, America.
That's what
I'm telling you right now.
They might say that, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
On the other side of the ball, Tua. What's going on here? 3 interceptions in the fourth quarter. Dolphins lose their 4th in a row. Not great. Do the Dolphins have a Tua problem?
Yeah, of course. Of course they do. And I understand Tuanon's going to come after me, and I get it. That something weird happened this year where otherwise smart football people were like, why is Justin Herbert considered better than Tua? And it's like, I don't know, because the games are on TV? Like, that would be my first guess, is because we can watch them. Who says the Dolphins don't have their franchise quarterback? I don't know. The 2 regimes there that have tried to move on from the guy, tried to get Deshaun Watson, tampered for Tom Brady, did everything they could to have this guy not ruin their season. We all like Tua. Nice guy, nice kid, good story. Unfortunately, as soon as it stops being a paint-by-numbers offense, it breaks down. And this was a disaster. I actually thought the Dolphins played well against the Bills. Mm-hmm. I thought they ran the ball well. I thought Tua made some good plays in the cold. But that now looks like the outlier because he was awful against the Niners, awful against the Chargers JV team, and then yesterday he lost them the game. And so, I know that myself and Colin Cowherd are owed apologies. We're owed apologies because people demanded we apologize. They're like, when are you going to apologize to Tua? It's like, never. Not going to when he proves us wrong.
So who has to apologize to you? The apologists?
Wrong media. Okay. Wrong media. That's who has to apologize.
Tua was a sort of MVP conversation in it or adjacent. But now Matt LaFleur is basically saying, we know where it's going. So what's going on with Tua?
Yeah, it's interesting because when you watch that game to start, Tua got into a rhythm. Mm-hmm. Guys were making plays. Electric. Offense looked great. And then he started throwing interceptions. In the first one, I'll give it to him. Overthrow, it happens. But the second one, when you look at what's going on, 5 guys on the defensive front, 5 guys up front, you're covered. You're good. You're not hot. If a 6th guy come, that makes you hot. That means you got to get rid of the ball right now. Well, even in the route concept, you have your running back in the flat, even if you are hot. So his eyes, I don't even know why he's even looking to that side of the field. You have Tyreek Hill on your left side, built in, all these decisions, right? This particular interception makes Tua look like he predetermines everything. And why? Because your eyes are lying to you. What are you even looking at? You're not pressured. There's no reason to get rid of the ball. Last thing I'll say about it is that's your running back in the slot. Your running back is not going to look hot and make hot adjustments. You have things built in. On the second interception, for me, this is what Matt LaFleur is talking about when he says we got to read the quarterback. Well, Rasul Douglas, veteran, savvy guy, he read the quarterback. They're in quarter halves. On this side, they're playing halves. Tyreek Hill, it's a smash route. That means, and they're covered too. So Rasul Douglas, he's the only defender that's pressed up. So what this tells Tua right now is, I can throw it to my corner that's going to be behind Rasul Douglas. Well, Rasul Douglas is a cat and mouse game right now. He knows that he's being read. He's reading the quarterback. He's going to stay attached to Tyreek Hill as long as he can and then fall off. And Tua already predetermined who he was going to throw the ball to. And you can't do those types of things. And I'll say this lastly.
Yeah.
The reason why I'm off on Tua, and I was on for a long time.
Yeah.
I'm done because you can't put him in the game and say, hey, Tua, get it done for us.
Exactly. That's and listen, so why, I'll just try to be quick here. When it's working, and they showed it earlier in the game, they're like, he threw this ball before the receiver
timing and everything.
Break. Yes, but and he is accurate enough that when it's working and everyone's where they need to be, he's going to cut you up with those receivers.
Yep.
But as soon as something's a little off, he does not have the arm talent, or he has not shown the ability to adjust to make up for it, to improvise. It's the difference between reading from a script all day long or being an improv comic. Some people are great at one thing and can never do the other. And Tua has not shown the ability that it's like, okay, we can't scheme it up for you. You've got to go make it happen. And he's like, no, I'm just going to stick to the script.
Exactly.
And that's how you throw back-to-back-to-back interceptions.
Okay. Dolphins going to the Foxborough. Oh, still alive. Also, I don't know if you caught
Is
that.
Mac Jones going to
because Nick did the herd with no scripts, and I have a script in front of me. He's like,
you know what's
that's
so
the
funny?
big difference.
I was
when
thinking
you're looking
about
out there
making
doing
that
radio
exact
with no notes.
That's just
you
what
got a full
he's
script.
right.
I saw it.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.